Hi friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today we are going to work on the 4-Star Generals Revisited. This is a sew along I'm doing with Teaquilts. There is no more patterns available, but if you get this pattern on the side, again, 4-Star Generals Revisited by Yellow Creek Quilt Designs, Kindred Spirits. So if you get this pattern on your own, at least there is a follow along for putting all the blocks together, as well as the border when we finally get to that. So this is going to be block 6 for month 6. Let's get to it. Okay, so for today, we are going to do block 6, or blocks to make block 6. 4 blocks makes 1 block. And I have all my pieces here. I have my, let's look. My background color, my background color, my background color. Then I have my main and my accent, and my accent number 2. I'm pretty sure that's the order. And I have it in all the piles, as well as I have my sashing. So let's go ahead and we're going to construct this block right here. B is for black for me, but it's background for everybody else that's doing this, which is usually a light color as the pattern suggests, but I'm using black. So let's go ahead and start this off by taking these 2 right here and these 2 right here from every single pile, and we're going to go ahead and make 4 patches. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all of those from every single pile. Let's just keep those together. Those over there, and these right here, and these right here. We're going to go ahead and make 4 patches. So let's go over to the sewing machine. Here we are at the sewing machine. I'm just going to run them through like this. I'm going to keep a background on the bottom and right sides together with my accent. Line them up just like this and run it through with a 1/4 inch seam. It would be good if I had a better seam or stitch length. There we go. And now I'm going to take and put the accent on the bottom and my background on the top for the next set that I run through, keeping them chain pieced, just like that. And I'm going to take the next set and do the same thing. I'm going to put my background on the bottom, my accent on the top, just like this. Run it through. Then I'm going to put my accent on the bottom and my background on the top and run it through. And I'm going to keep going. I should have switched to black thread too, because I totally have been using black thread most of this. But it's okay. I'll live. Again, and now I'm going to put accent down, black on the top. And the last one, same thing. Accent on the bottom first. Then accent on the bottom and black on the top. I meant to say black on the bottom on the last one, but that's okay. Now I'm just going to keep them in sets of 2 like this. And I'm going to go ahead and finger press towards my accent on both of them like this. Once they're finger pressed, all I have to do is put them right sides together, and those seams should nest up, which means they are locked in place. I'm going to go ahead now and sew them together, just like that. So I'm going to repeat that step. I'm going to press towards the accent, right sides together because they're hooked, so you really can't mess anything up. Next one, just finger pressing this tiny small seam, making sure they lock, line it up, stitch it through, and the last one, nest it up. So now I should have all 4 of my center part of the blocks, 4 patches. I'm just going to press them to one side or the other. It don't really matter. I don't even know what the directions say. Oh, it says to press them open, the last seam, but I'm not going to do that. You can press it open as the directions say, but I'm not going to bother. Just pressing them all back. So all I have to do now is take them to the iron and make them flat, and we'll move on to the next block. All right, for the next step, here is my accent. Here is my main color. So all the pinks are my main color on all of these. So my main color and my main color, and all of the greens are my accent. So I'm going to take and draw a line from corner to corner on all of my accents, which are these. And then I'm going to stitch on both sides of the drawn line. And then I'm going to press them towards my accent fabric. So we're going to take this and we're going to match it with a main fabric. And then we're going to take our main fabric and match it with a background on all of these. So let's go ahead and go to the sewing machine. Don't forget to draw your line on the back side of your fabric. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use my seam tape. And let's go to the sewing machine and make some half square triangles. Here we are at the machine. Again, drawing a line from one corner to the other. We're going to stick these right sides together, just like this. And you have one main with one background and one main with one accent. Right sides together like this. And we're going to sew on both sides of our drawn line. So there's one. There's two. I'm going to flip it around and sew the other side of my drawn line. I'm using seam tape, so I'm lining my tip up with my 1/4 inch line on the seam tape. Just like that. We're going to separate these, and I'm going to stick these aside for now, back over at my area where I'm keeping everything until I'm ready to trim them and sew the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in fast forward while I sew the other 3 sets. All right, now that that is done, we are going to take them and split them in half. So in between, or on your drawn line, in between the 2 sewn lines, we're going to split these in half like this and in half like that. So you will have 4 half square triangles, just like this, 4 half square triangles. So split them all in half, and then I'm putting them all back into their piles so that I know that they go together like that. And this one, just like that. And then we're going to do this stack. Just bring them near me and then put them back, because we're going to just go ahead and sew them again in a minute. But for now, we can keep it all together. All right, so now they're all trimmed. And now we're going to press each set towards the accent, or the main fabric, sorry. So we're going to press them all towards the main fabric. So I'm just going to press these and I'll be right back. Now that they are all pressed towards the main fabric, what we're going to do is take the combinations like this. Oops, let's get this on the screen. We're going to take the combinations. There's 2 of each. We're going to put these opposites. So we want when you're putting them right sides together, lay your main fabric both the same direction, flop it over. That way, when you put it together, you have this combination and this combination, just like this. And you're going to do that again, this, and like that. So now we're going to, once these are all together like this, we're going to draw a line from corner to corner, and we're going to stitch on both sides of the line again, giving us a unit that looks like this, a 1/4 square triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and match all these sets up, and then we're going to go over to the sewing machine and sew all these. So let's get that done. I'm prepping them now. So again, they're just opposite of each other. So if they're right sides together, you just want to like this. So pink's on one side and a pink is on the other, depending on what your colorway is. So let's go sew them. Here we are at the machine. Remember to draw your line. In my case, I am not drawing it, but I'm going to now sew on both sides of my imaginarily drawn line, but I'm lining my corners up with my 1/4 inch line on my seam tape, just like that. And I'm also holding it with my nested seam together. I really want to butt these up so that I have a nice seam. So I'm just like butting them up. So on one side, and then flip it around and sew on the other side of my drawn line. So here's group 1. I'm going to go ahead and just place that back where it goes for now. I'm going to go group 2. Again, I'm nesting those seams before I sew. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this in fast forward while I sew each side of all these sets. So now I have them all sewn. What I'm going to do now is it wants you to trim them apart, then press them, but I'm actually going to trim them apart, then trim them, then press them. So I'm going to go ahead and trim now on my center line, just like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and line mine up to trim them to the size according to the pattern. So I'm just going to do my way of doing things like this. So I'm just going to trim and trim just like that. According to the directions, I'm going to cut off my dog ears while I'm here. And then this will be my finished little piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put you in fast forward while I trim the lot of these. And if you guys have never seen me do this before, maybe I should show you. But I can't give you the measurements, but I could show you. So we're going to move this out of the way so that you can see. I'm going to line the number that I need on the ruler right here on this seam line. Then I'm going to line the tip of my ruler, the corner, up with the seam line down the center. Then I'm going to put the other side, which is my other tip, on the other side, just like this. So that is on the seam line. The number I'm looking for is on my seam line. And I got to slide it down a little bit so that my center is also on that seam line. Once you have all that lined up, trim one side, trim the other, and then I just turn it to the side like this and cut the dog ears off by cutting it at an angle. See that? Some people turn the whole block around, line up to the size you need it to be, and then trim, but I seem to just do it faster the other way. So there's the block. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in fast forward while I trim the rest of this. So it said to press open, and I'm pretty sure you saw that where I pressed one of the seams open, but I don't really press open, so follow the directions if it works for you, but if you don't do something a certain way and you're just used to pressing to one side, then go ahead and do that. I think it lays flat every single one of these 4 areas, so I have really no care in the world to press everything open. So we're going on to the next step by laying this block out. We're going to start with our center, and then we're going to have 4 corners with our background squares that we are previously cut. And then we're going to lay these out where our background faces out, like this. So my background, or my case black, but your case the light, it's going to face out like that. So let's lay all of them out. Which way does it have? Yep, it has it going this way. So all the 4 patches, the background is going side to side. I'll lay this on here like this. We're going to put again this accent colors facing in and the background facing like this. Block 2. Then we're going to come around and lay the next block out. Again, my background is going diagonally this direction. As you see on the screen, that's my view, which is the correct view. So background in the top corner right here, accent facing the blocks like this. And then last but not least, again, it doesn't go this way. It goes with your background up at the top. Then these are your 4 corners, which is your extra pieces that you had left from pre-cutting everything. And then your accent goes inward, this. I think these ones go with that one, and that one goes with this one. But it really don't matter. It's a dark with a light. And these are lights with a dark. All right. So now we just need to sew all 4 of these together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these right here. I'm going to go right sides together. These 2, right sides together. These 2, right sides together. And I'm going to sew on the right side of all of that. So let's go to the machine and do that. And then I'm going to add these 3. Okay, so here we are at the machine. I'm going to take my first 2 pieces. They should be exactly the same size. I'm going to run those through. 1/4 inch seam. Then I'm going to take my next 2. Again, they should be exactly the same size. I'm going to run those through. And then my 3rd piece, right sides together. 3rd 2 pieces, I should say. Same exact size. Just line them up. Sew them on through, just like that. I'm going to leave them together, but I'm going to come down here and I'm going to press towards the background, then towards my center 4 patch, and then again towards my background, like this. And I'm going to grab the first piece that goes on the other side. I'm going to line that up, just like this, and sew it through. Grab that next piece, right sides together. I did not flip or move anything. And the last and final piece. Then I'm going to press towards the background, towards that center 4 patch, and towards the background. Now I just need to attach them together. So right sides together on one side, we're going to line this up. Everything should be exactly the same size. I'm going to come right here, line this next end, and nest this seam. And those 2 are now together. The seams are beautifully nested. I'm just going to finger press it away from the center, just like this. Now we're going to add that other side, right sides together. Just going to nest my seams. As you can see, they're in opposite directions. I'm going to line my block up, nest those seams. Nesting the seam. And when I sewed this, I aimed for the cross before it. So you can see where the 2 cross right here. I aimed before it. So that way when I open it up, I don't lose the points on my hourglass blocks. So I'm going to finger press this back, take it over to the iron and press it. But first, I'm going to put you in fast forward while I sew the rest of the blocks. All right, there's my blocks. Now, they were sewn together with the black in the top corner like this, but I am going to put them together with this in the top corner here, that in the top corner there, this in the bottom corner, and that in the bottom corner. So that way they all come towards the center, just like that. Now we need sashing. So we're going to put one piece of sashing here and one piece of sashing here, and then put them all together and put a piece of sashing in the middle. But let's start with the two blocks. So I'm going to take my piece of sashing, right sides together. I'm going to take this to the machine and sew it on, then open it and attach the other one. So I'll be right back. Now, to take this sashing for the middle part, we're going to put it right sides together with this, just like that. And I am going to sew it on here, and then I'll show you how to align the rest of them. So there it is attached to this one. So all we need to do now is attach the bottom to the top. Now we want these center ones to line up, but we have no cornerstone here to line them up. So what I do is I line them up, flip it over right sides together, and then I put my finger, I could feel that seam. I put my fingers here on that seam, and I peel it back and go, oh, wow, look, this one lines up with that, and that one lines up with that. So you can see, it's hard to see because I have black fabric, even if I zoomed you in. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew from one side to the other and hope that it stays. All right, and there it is. You can see it's not, you can't see, there we go. It lines up as good as it can get. Not perfect, but there we have it. There is block 6 of the 4-Star General Revisited, 4-Star Generals Revisited Sew Along. So, yeah, that's it. Let's end this by saying thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.